basically Sylvia on the Internet Committee here.
Right,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Right, excellent. No, that's good.
So, and I really rely on the internet, and I have to really fight for the ADSL that I have, which is the fastest one around.
Yes, yes.
When the NBN comes through, how is that going to affect me? Because I rely on my internet service for my forms of communication.
Yes.
So
yes.
if we don't get this NBN tower up and running,
Yes, yes.
I've got no choice to sell up and move.
Yes, yes, yes. Okay. So I might just start just by saying to everyone, thanks for coming along, which is very good that you've been to come here in such short notice. Basically, what I've come along today is to just get a sense of what you're experiencing, and then what we need to do going forward. Obviously, to me, there are two key issues. One is, first of all, mobile reception, right? So, well, exactly. Don't worry. I was just pulled up in the car before, and I was just making a couple of calls because there's a couple of issues I needed to deal with. So I understand the mobile reception, and you'll also...
No, you don't understand it. You found a spot to use it, so you don't understand it, believe me.
No, I also drive along this road on a very constant basis, so I have first-hand experience every time I'm going to and from Canberra, because this is the route that I use. So I do understand. So what we've got as a government is we've put $200 million into a fund for mobile black spots. Now, Glenthompson is on the list as one of the areas that needs a mobile phone tower. So what we have to do as a community is work together to make sure that we get Glenthompson taken off the list as somewhere that we need a mobile phone tower, to get a commitment to a mobile phone tower here. So we got 12 new mobile phone towers in the electorate of Wannon announced during the last term of government. So there was only one other electorate in the state that did better than us, and I'm determined to make sure that we continue in the next term of government to get more commitments to mobile phone towers in the areas where they need them.
No offence, Dan, that sounds lovely, but what was the other electorate? Because we know that this is the largest electorate in Victoria, so it being such a huge area, you're bound to get more in this area spread out over the whole electorate. So, you know, it's like statistics, it's how you take them as to, you know.
Yeah. So the electorate of Mallee is the biggest electorate in Victoria.
Oh,
yeah, and then the electorate of Murray. And so it's the electorates of Gippsland and Wannon, and then about the next size. Gippsland is a tiny bit bigger than Wannon, but they're more or less about the same size. And then the electorate of Indi is the next, and it actually got 13 towers. So it beat us by one. So a lot of the decision making that went around where the mobile phone towers went was because the Victorian government also made a contribution to ensuring that we get a rollout as well, and a lot of their contribution was based on where there's bushfire danger. So now in these next rounds, unfortunately we don't have the Victorian government, they're not putting in additional funds, it's just Commonwealth funds for the next round. But what I would say is what we need to do is, especially in country areas, if we work together, that's our best way of being able to demonstrate a need. So here at Glenthompson, you have a demonstrated need because you've got a major highway which runs through, and one of the things which they're saying where they should be putting the towers is along major highways. So we've actually got some reasonable grounds to argue for to getting one. The other thing,
not only a major highway, but as you would know if you're in the area, this is also a major trucking route up through to Ararat and the north of the state and the country.
And the countries. Yes. So I just I was at Ararat before I came here. So, but you're absolutely right. There's a major trucking route up there. The other thing which can help, and it's not absolutely essential, but which might help, is if we could get the local shire to look at making a contribution as well, because the more levels of government that you've got prepared to make a contribution, the greater your success in being able to get a mobile tower. So that is something else which is worth considering about.
Are you referring to a mobile phone tower there or an internet NBN tower?
So at the moment we're just dealing with the issue of a mobile phone tower. Then we can get onto NBN. So
excuse me, can I jump in there?
Yeah, absolutely.
Most of the fire situation here, when it's fire season, is looked after via the internet, right? You're constantly monitoring streams and that.
Yep, you are.
So, apart from mobile, which will work when you get out of this exact area, you're not waving it in the street while it's pouring rain, what we need is internet. More than anything, we need internet here. It's absolute rubbish. Why it's not here, I don't know. There has been talk that a tower was to be put up, a 4G tower, and that's gone by the board. Why? Nobody knows.
Including the people whose property that was going to be on, as far as I understand it.
So is anyone
No, I
here
don't
from
think there's
that?
anyone representing from here at the moment, Vic.
So just so I'm clear on this, so
You're right, Drew.
just so I'm clear, are we talking a fixed wireless NBN or a mobile
Well, that's all we can
tower?
get. Telstra will not upgrade anything here.
Yeah, yes,
Telstra's
yeah.
not interested in doing anything about, and I certainly don't want copper. It's slow. The NBN is slow compared to other countries. It's rubbish. But the best avenue for here would be fixed wireless, and it's not a big deal. It can be done. There's places around here that a tower can be put up and readily. I came down here to ask you a couple of questions.
Yeah.
Like, you run your business in at Hamilton. You don't have to run out to the street and put your mobile phone up to get a message through or receive anything. Now, how are you connected in Hamilton via the internet?
So NBN has come to Hamilton.
No, what's your company, where you are now, how are you connected?
Fixed wireless, is it? Not or is it
ADSL,
fibre?
whatever.
Do you have fibre there, or is it fixed wireless or NBN?
I thought we had NBN in Hamilton now, but
Hamilton itself, I think they're still looking
Yeah, I'm
at
not
the
worried
fixed.
about what is in Hamilton. I'm asking what are you connected at in your office? How are you connected to the internet?
So my house, which is on the
No, not your house, your business.
So the office
Yes.
in Hamilton.
Yep.
Yeah, it's on NBN.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Yep.
I'm happy for you.
Yep.
Sorry, is that
Now-
on copper NBN or is it fixed wireless?
I think it's. I'll need to double check.
The
I
point
don't
I want
know
to get at
exactly.
is you're able to connect to, say if you're like myself, pensioner, you wanted to connect to Centrelink. You can do it like that. You can't here. I'm happy, free of charge, to come into your office, disconnect you from the NBN and put in a 56k modem, router, modem, assembly, and see if you can run your business from that. See if you can listen to live CFA streaming. You won't. This is what we're dealing with here, and I think we deserve better. And to put it to us that we have to do a lot of the work to get things up, that's what you're there for. Honestly, that's what you're there for. You're our spokesperson. That's why you're here today.
Yeah. I
We
agree.
deserve better.
That's it.
Yeah.
What it's saying is a tiny town like Wycliffe are in range of the NBN wireless tower, while Glenthompson gets nothing. And I mean, the copper network we've got here is a disaster. There are lines lying in the street in bare. You can actually see the phone lines without any insulation on them, lying in the street. It's that bad. We really do need NBN towers here. You can't even run a business properly here. It's that bad.
Okay, so just so we're clear, because I don't want to. I'm happy to move the discussion on to NBN, but let's just settle first with the mobile tower. So that's the mobile phone tower. So we've got a fund of $200 million to fix mobile black spots. Glenthompson is recognised as a mobile black spot. So what we've got to do is build the case to get a mobile phone tower here. Now, 3 years ago, the Victoria Valley, they had similar issues. Right now, they are now listed to get a mobile phone tower. Moon and Bell was exactly the same as Glenthompson. It now is listed to get a mobile phone tower. So what we can do is we can work to get one here. What I was trying to say was, one of the things which might help is if we can get the local council to say, okay, yeah, we would be happy to contribute. Now, they might not be able to, but if they could, that would help the process. Some of the other councils around the electorate have put money towards getting a mobile phone tower, and that has meant that it's been it's mean that in terms of getting up the pecking order, it has helped. For instance, the Pyrenees Council put some money in to support Moon and Bell. One of the councils down in the south are putting some money forward to help get a mobile tower there. So that's one of the other things that would help us. But it is listed as somewhere where we need to get a mobile phone tower, and I'm happy to work with you to make sure we get one.
Mobile phone with the council on numerous occasions.
How did Victoria Valley move forward with the tower?
Victoria Valley moved forward because they that community there came and approached me. So I took the relevant minister out to the Victoria Valley. We had a meeting similar to this one, and then I just kept in his ear and said we need to make sure that we get one. And then the Victorian government, because it's fire prone, put some money into providing it into bush fire prone things, and so they got their mobile tower.
But they've got
How much money is it to put one in?
Yeah, roughly. You're looking. It varies in terms of getting the power to the site. That has a bearing on the cost. It's hard to give an exact estimation, but the $200 million can lead to, like, my view is in the next 3 years we should be able to get at least another 12 for the electorate, and I can see no reason why Glenthompson shouldn't be one of them.
So if we get, your grants that you're for us getting a tower, and if we get Southern Grampians on board, because we've also got a wind farm here.
Exactly. So if we could
need to maybe use some power for us.
That would be because if they were prepared to make a contribution, and I would be happy to, approach them as well.
What internet service or mobile service are the towers using? Are the wind farms using? They've got to have some type of access to internet as well as mobile.
Yeah, I don't know that question, but I'd be more than happy to approach them to see. So, but that's the.
Well, we're not short on around town spots for putting towers. That's the easy bit.
Yes.
There's enough land or back land or corn box land around our block or other blocks around.
Yes. Yeah.
We're on the main highway.
Yes. Yeah. No. Most towns usually, especially in the country towns, it's not an issue where they get put because the communities are welcoming of the towers. It's just a matter of making sure we can get the money and the investment. So we're very fortunate in the country. A lot of my city colleagues have issues because they'll get mobile phone towers, and then the people surrounding them are worried about having a mobile tower, and then it becomes a big argy-bargy. We're fortunate that we don't have
Warren
that.
Main Highway, with our substation, we've got a pack this side of the creek, and
Yes, yeah.
which is accessible to power as well.
Yeah.
Dan, we should also incorporate Ararat Shire Council, because our boundary is 2 kilometres this way, so if the tower is very close to Ararat, so we've got some Grampians as well as
Ararat,
so
yeah.
both those shires, because a lot of ratepayers
Yes, yeah,
utilise
also
Glenthompson, Ararat ratepayers.
pays go north, so
So both shires can be incorporated.
incorporated, yeah. So that's fine. Waiting very patiently up there.
Well, previously they were going to build a mobile phone tower just out here. Someone mentioned it before. So to get to the point where they were hanging signs on fence to say it was going ahead, I imagine they're going to have some funding to do that at that point. Would you be able to find out where that money disappeared to?
I will. I doubt. I would say that what it was one of the companies just doing it off their own bat. So it might have been either, an Optus or a Telstra or a Vodafone just deciding to put one here. Because one of the things which always confuses me a bit as I drive to and from is, given the traffic, there's actually fairly good commercial reasons for having a mobile tower.
Just seems interesting that it was going to go up. So someone allocated money
Yes.
at some point.
So it might, it would have been it would have been one of the phone companies. It might have been. So I'm happy to.
I think it was Telstra. I think it was too, because I remember there was,
I believe one person objected.
There's a story that's going on.
Yeah.
because there was actually a petition, a thing sent out to say, did anyone objecting Glenthompson? It was left on the post office counter if you objected to it, but of course nobody did that I know of. But as far as I know, everyone was for it.
It only takes one person,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
So
If you want a bit of a segue there was a Telstra employee in town who actually said that the money from that tower, when that didn't go ahead, actually got reallocated to the NBN.
It wouldn't have got reallocated to the NBN. It would have probably got reallocated to another
I don't know.
area. Because, I mean, just to give you a sense of it, in the last couple of months there's been a phone tower which has opened at Digby, and there's been another 2 or 3 up on the other side north of Casterton. So what they'll tend to do, and if there was an objection in terms of putting they often will say, because there's many areas where they're looking to put them, they might have said, well, if we're going to have to go through issues with regards to getting planning approval, we'll just move it somewhere else. But I don't know the history of it. I'll say to Telstra, did you look at putting one here? And if you did, off your own bat, then why won't you now work with us, given that we're also prepared to contribute from a federal government point of view to putting one here?
And especially since there's other people out here who are more than happy, as Mark said, and I've kind of spoken to a few people out on the farms, and they're more than happy to have them on their property. So it's not an issue of the property.
No.
It's the issue of the person who's
We're
actually
allowed
put the
to residential
infrastructure.
on the highway, so we come under 2 zoning. Even between us and Tracy, there's half an acre.
Yes,
In regards to the NBN,
yes.
on the onset of the NBN, it was for the rural sector, right, to bring us online with the speeds of the city. Where did it start? It started over in Tasmania, right, in a bigger town. Then it went out there like a spider's web. That's okay, but it still doesn't work properly down there. It hasn't come to here. It hasn't come to a lot of rural areas. Yes, bigger rural cities like Swan Hill, Mildura, those places, but it's not here where it should be. And to be offered a satellite that's now outmoded, it's too many connected to it, and your speed is less than a standard dial-up modem, it's ridiculous.
I think most people in the Most people in
I can
agreement
tell
here, they're
why
not going to accept satellite.
Dish turned out to be a really nice duck pond.
Yeah.
Now, what I'd like you to fight for is the fact that the internet, the NBN, was via the governments designed specifically for the rural people, farmers, people at school out in the middle of nowhere, to give the same benefit as the city. What happens? Well, all the good stuff goes to the city. We're left here like a shag on a rock.
50 gigs per month is totally inadequate for most people.
We've come 10 gig in Queensland, rural
We've only
Queensland.
been here for 9
The
months.
excuse was back then when they were releasing new satellite, which a few mates in Queensland are connected now, no speed's changed. They said speed was going to go like lightning speed, nothing's changed.
I could get up, make a coffee, and then have a conversation and go and play with my dogs, and my home
Have you
page
played-
will still be loading.
Have you played with the satellite internet? Have you used it at all?
I have used it, as people have showed me what
We
it's
have
like.
paid
Yeah.
$70 for 10 gig a month, and that's crap.
Yeah. So if we just so we're consistent with where we're going. So we've done the mobile black spot funding. So now let's move to the NBN.
Why can't they put
Right.
2,000 to 1?
Well, it's a very good question, and it's one that I've raised in the Parliament because it would seem logical that that's how it would have worked. And look, I don't want to get into the past history, but what happened was the way they designed the NBN fixed towers, they didn't design them so that you could use mobile telecommunication.
Yeah, but electronics these days and engineering, it'd have to be possible.
So one of the things, since we've got into government, that we've started looking at is to see whether you might be able to combine the two together, which to me would seem logical, but it wasn't one of the things which was done at the
What about some
when
of
they
the
started the
windmills, for
process.
example, combining 2 into 1? There's a lot of windmills around, they're high enough already.
Yeah,
No, not correct.
we need to. I mean, the towers. There is a possibility that they could use NBN towers for mobile telecommunications.
I know they do.
But that is something that we're
The
we're
frequencies
still
are terribly
investigating.
different.
Well, that's
yeah.
so you run into those types of issues to do with frequency. So with NBN, we're obviously getting it rolled out in Wannon, and they will have begun the construction of the NBN rollout in Wannon in the electorate by 2018. So in terms of the NBN rollout, we're actually doing very well. So there has been a focus on making sure it goes out into regional and rural areas.
But not Glenthompson.
Well, what we need to do is, so my understanding is that Glenthompson is going to get satellite, right? Now...
We've got it.
Yeah, no.
We've got satellite.
No, just hear me out, because you haven't... So what I'm here
We've got
today
satellite.
is because you've said to me, you don't think that satellite is good enough. You
No.
want the fixed wireless, yep?
Yep, that's right.
All right, so, and you've got
At a minimum.
At a minimum, you want the fixed wireless. So, and you've got a petition here that says that that's what you want.
That's right.
So the reason I've come here today is to get the petition, and I'm happy to sign the petition to say that I'm happy to fight with you to say we don't want satellite. What we want is fixed wireless for Glenthompson, right?
So you're saying you're going to fight your own party, your own Minister for Communications, in order to try and get Glenthompson NBN wireless? I mean, that sounds ridiculous, really.
Well, it's what it is NBN makes these decisions. So NBN does the rollout.
Yes, but
NBN
the government has influence over the NBN and can direct them to do certain things.
that is why I'm saying I'm happy to come here today and say that I will make very strong representations to whoever is the new communications minister, and I can't prejudge anything. I can't even prejudge that I will be the member for Wannon next week. But
We'll
well,
put money on it.
you never get ahead of yourself. So in this game, but what I am saying is that if I am, then I will fight with you to make sure that you don't get satellite, that you get a fixed wireless tower here.
What sort of
Right,
time
and-
frame if you're successful with actually convincing the minister that we deserve it?
I'm not going to commit to
Till the
to
next
time
election,
frames. What I will commit to is that if you'll work with me, that I will fight with you to make sure that we don't get satellite, that we get fixed wireless.
We've already got satellite. It's
No,
already-
no,
yeah.
well, what I'm saying is that they
Yeah.
change from satellite
Yeah.
to fixed wireless, right? So now, I obviously, you know, how long that's going to take, what sort of battle it's going to be, I don't know. This will be the first time I've sought to get an NBN decision overturned, so I'm not quite sure what I'm getting myself in for. But what I'm saying is, I've heard you loud and clear that you've given me the message, loud and clear, that you don't want satellite, that you believe that you deserve fixed wireless. So I'm
Why
happy
shouldn't we? When Whitcliffe, Dunkeld,
Well, what
all
do you
the
believe
adjacent...
personally yourself?
Oh, well, I agree with you, because when it was raised with me about where the other towns have got fixed wireless and that you don't, I actually think it's an anomaly.
It's weird.
I do.
Totally
I think it's an
justice.
anomaly, right? So that is,
making us feel that we're second grade because we, you know, B grade people because we live in Glenthompson.
Yeah.
It's just not the
And it
case.
shouldn't be,
No,
because we're
so-
on two
We have
major highways.
an RTC here, a Rural Transaction Centre, which was the second in the state, I believe, wasn't it, Sally? And so we are a Centrelink, you know, sub-office in a sense here, with our own public use computers, and nobody uses the computers because they can't get reliable internet, or, you know, if they do, the speeds are so slow that they just give up and wait until they go into Hamilton or one of the bigger towns.
so that to me is a very good reason that we should put to the minister as to why we deserve to have a fixed wireless, because we've got a rural transaction centre here. People need to be able to use the computers, they need to be able to use them with the... So these are all the arguments that we need to put together to make the presentation and say this is why we need the decision changed.
So when do we
And
have
that's a
next
very
meeting?
valid reason.
When can we have another meeting?
Well, I mean, I'm happy to sit down and talk to you whenever. Obviously, you've got to understand, I can't prejudge the voters on Saturday. But what I'm saying to you is,
If you get in Saturday,
if I get in on Saturday, then I'm happy to call in here again and have a similar meeting.
Within 14 days?
We're within 14 days, and we'll go through all the arguments. But what I'd like is if everyone can put their minds to what are the types of arguments we need to put. So just for
Or
instance,
medical. For elderly people, there will be medical consultations in the near future.
So
In the near future, there will be online medical consultations.
So-
And there's a very high number of elderly people in this town who will more than likely need that service rather than travel
Yes.
50 kilometres just to go and get a blood test or something
Yes.
silly
Yeah.
like that.
Because I
Trying
believe
to
the
get new
government
businesses in town as well.
Yep.
Trying to back them up if someone wants to do something. You can't do it on satellite's piss poor. We moved from Queensland 2,000 kilometres away due to health, to the cooler weather for myself. And we were guaranteed NBN when we looked down here. That's
Yeah.
why we moved. NBN as in wireless, not satellite.
Yep.
I was told 4.5 months ago from Telstra that, mate, we get satellite, that's it, and NBN.
We were exactly the same when we moved here 2 years ago from Gippsland.
Yeah.
And
David
Gippsland
wanted
is
to
very
start up
similar
a
to here. I
business.
mean, populations. We
And
lived in
we
a small
were
town called
told
Geelong
no
North.
problems
That's it.
whatsoever.
We had proper internet there.
Yeah.
Now, why can't we have it here? Is the question.
yeah.
One of the towns that had another problem in Queensland that we sold a small local block within 6 months of being granted for an NBN tower, the phone tower, it was done the day we sold the property.
Yeah.
But we're moving anyway. But 6 months, bang, done, finish.
Okay, so we've heard some good examples as to the case we need to put as to why. So the Rural Transaction Centre, e-health. So it's just a matter of thinking of some other things which can be put. So obviously it's on a major highway, so it's a major traffic route.
There have been complaints from people coming through this town,
Truckies.
tourists as well.
Tourists will go
They
down
won't
there.
stop here because they can't get any internet. I mean, that's affecting the tourist industry.
Yes.
We also are a bushfire prone area.
Well, I agree. It's also a bushfire prone area.
As
So,
Peter said before, we need it.
so if people can put their minds to what are the arguments.
How many arguments do we need?
Oh, look, what the most important thing is to make sure that they're all good, common sense, sensible arguments to put. And as long as we've got all those,
What minimum numbers do NBN and/or the government look at for the wireless situation?
well, it varies because as you've seen, there seems to be an anomaly between some of the places which have got the fixed wireless and those that don't. So that's one of the, and that's one of the cases that we need to put forward.
Now, I've got
Yeah.
a situation. I work out at the local sheep dairy out here. We make yogurt and whatever,
Yes, I know.
okay?
Yes, yeah.
The internet service there is higgledy-piggledy. Like, you set the modem up in the window, but then the modem falls off and it breaks the connection. So then you've got to replace that. Mobile phone service, again, just as bad. Somebody texts you an order, 5 days later you get it. Well, you've already made the yogurt and they missed out. So as far as businesses go, between needing internet and phone service both, because they're only, what, a kilometer, if that, off the highway? And the way they're positioned, they're actually quite close to the highway. And yet they've got, so how do you run a business if you don't have any connection? Because to get a landline in there would cost $8,000, I think they said.
That's what I
So
was trying
you're
to get
stuck
at.
with
You couldn't run
nothing.
your office.
There's no way.
You could not run it. If you were here, you could not run it. That's why I said, just to give you an indication, I'd come in there free of charge. I would connect you up to a dial-up modem, which is virtually what you get here.
I've been previously on a dial-up modem. So I hear you. I understand what you're
Everything
saying.
is media heavy now.
I also understand you can't do anything until the ball gets rolling after the weekend.
Yes.
Hopefully,
Yes.
for yourself.
Yeah.
But
Now-
it certainly needs to be pushed from your point of view for and on behalf of your constituency.
Yeah, I'm more than happy to do that. Before the last election, I did it for 3 communities, and I'm happy to do it on behalf of this community. Yeah. So more than happy.
Putting out plaques and then standing out there going maybe nuts at the moment. At the moment.
Yeah. No, I hear you.
Just pointing out to you, Dan, on this petition, there is a pledge there, and it says it may influence our voting at the up and coming federal election. Now, obviously, if you don't come up with the goods by next election, I very much doubt that many people in this town will vote for you. What I'm here In other words,
for,
you're on notice.
So what I'm here for is just to say I want to work with you to address this problem. So I don't, that's all obviously up to individuals and how they want to do and what they want to do. All I want to do is come here and say to you, I'm happy to work with you to try and fix this problem.
Also, we're pretty near town, 9 months in the area. We'll sell up for the 6 months if we can't get it. Straight up, no ifs or buts. Because we'll end up with a hearing. It's easier to use the internet than it is trying to use TC Wi-Fi and all that crap. If something plays up, you can't pick the phone up and go, hello, I've got a problem. I make most of the phone calls. I'm sick most days too. Chronic pain and memory lapses and that. So she's got to rely on me to make phone calls if need be, instead of trying to use the internet for emails. But we're also the gateway, I believe, to the Southern Grampians. Dunkel's the main entrance, but you go 2 directions from here. So as a tourist industry area, what are they doing about tourism? Tourism's a big thing in Australia. There's so many towns dying because of lack of services.
Yeah. Well, we're very fortunate here, obviously, especially with the Grampians, that this is a route which tourists use.
Yeah, but what are the local government, state governments, what are they doing for the areas? Really, they're doing nothing.
Well, Dunkeld is being looked after really, really well.
Yes.
Because of one person there.
Yeah.
We all know why. They've got all the facilities.
Yeah.
We're no different. Why are everybody around us has got everything they need?
We've got nothing here.
We're in the middle like a swamp.
We've got nothing here for
We
even
need
tourists.
drain.
And we were told we were a special case. And
We're only a special needs group.
qualified for satellite. Why are we special when
There's nothing here for the tourists. We've got dumped on caravans. I mean, without tourists, the small towns don't survive. I understand a lot of people are quite happy for a quiet lifestyle. Without the dollar turnover, no businesses survive, especially the roadhouse. Roadhouse goes, town lost everything. We've come from a rural area where we've lost everything.
So we're looking at roughly a 2-week time frame,
Yep.
post-election.
And
for you to get back to the
and what I want you to do is think about what are the reasons that we want to put forward.
I think we've
Health for
actually
staff.
put through
Pretty
enough.
much. Well, yeah.
I really
So
do.
yeah,
Yeah, I
no,
think they're all
so just
very strong points.
yeah, they are. But if anyone can think of anything else in the meantime, but yeah, no, I think that's a very good start.
Do you think, Dan, like assuming you get voted in, whatever happens with government, but then, so in it, whatever time frame, 2, 3, 4 weeks, whatever it will be, you'll come back.
Yep.
Hopefully, we'll get representative from shires, both shires.
Yeah. Well, that's we can try and work that. Yes.
Is there anyone else we would need?
No, I think also we need to speak to AGL.
Well, AGL.
Yeah. And
Greg Walcott.
yeah,
No, he
I
might
don't
be.
think he's not there anymore. But yeah, so
There'll be
we can
someone.
talk to them to see whether they're. And then we can go. We put all that together, put the reasons together, and then we.
I think we've got enough backstory. We know that
yes,
we need to go forward.
Forward,
don't
no, we do. We need to go forward.
But we also need to bear in mind that ultimately responsibility for communications lies with the federal government.
It does.
And, you know, I mean, look, the state and local councils, you know,
No, look,
They're not really-
Yeah, they may not be in a position to help, but what I've said is where others have, that has assisted. And I'm not saying that it's all dependent on them, far from it. What I'm saying is if they are prepared to help, it will make it'll make life easier. But we can still do it without them.
are you willing to lobby on our behalf towards people like Keneally and the council and other ones that are that pretty much ignore us?
No, I'm happy to work with you. That's why I've come here this afternoon.
Minister of Communications, any chance we can get him out here, or her, whatever it is, in 7 days, to operate their business out of town on our local services?
Well, what I would like to do is at some stage, and once again it's all election dependent, but I would like to get the Minister for Communications to come and visit.
They spent 7 days here running their business from town.
I don't know whether
Mobile office. You couldn't get any better.
They know what it's like in less than 24
I
hours.
don't know whether we'll get him for 7 days, but that might
Well,
be.
who's good mates with him? You gotta have mate with someone good.
No, look,
We don't know who it is yet.
we don't know who it is. If the government
They know who it is.
Was it Tony Abbott?
is returned, no, it's not. If the government is returned, I do know the Minister for Communications quite well. I also know the Minister for Rural Telecommunications quite well. I worked with her.
Very fucking joke, sorry.
Yeah, so
I dealt with them in Queensland, they were real jokes.
yeah, so anyway, so that's fine. So we should be able to get someone to visit if we start running into problems.
If not, where can we send our hourly bills to about maintenance? Who can we bill for it? Government will bill us.
Yeah. So look, let's just see whether we can get the problem fixed. And my view is if we can all work together, I think we can start making some real progress.
Okay, well,
Would you like to sign our petition?
yes, we'll get you to sign the petition if that's okay.
So I'll just the only thing I'll just have to.
Yeah, make sure you read it.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
he probably
I don't know whether I want to be.
Yeah,
so
you've got to vote against your own party.
Yeah,
you
I know.
see.
Well, this and I've got it may influence our. So it's not going to influence my.
It says may, which means
yeah,
optional.
I tell you what. Why don't I write on the back here?
A disclaimer.
No.
Oh, I thought you were signing a declaration of independence and declaring war upon the Commonwealth of Australia.